Cursed. Cursed. We all go a little mad sometimes.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
I saw the boogeyman. I saw him outside.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Tomb of Terrors with me, Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another episode, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review on your favorite podcast app or become a patron, patreon.com/oldmanbrad. And make sure you follow me on social media. Just look for Old Man Brad on Blue Sky and Instagram. You can also look for the brand new Tomb of Terrors on Instagram. And make sure you follow me on Letterboxd. Just look for Old Man Brad so you can see all the watches I do. All right, we've reached the halfway point of the Year of Naschy. This is the 6th movie in the series, in the Year of Naschy. Last month, you heard my good friend Drew and I talk about Horror Rises from the Tomb. This month, welcoming in a first-time guest, we're going to talk Hunchback of the Morgue. I'm going to welcome in Captain Steve from the Bucket of Chum podcast. How you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm excited to talk about this one. This one is, I feel like there's quite a bit to kind of unpack on this one.
Yeah, quite a surprising amount, actually. Like, I was actually very surprised when I was watching it. I was like, oh, there's like a lot to actually talk about with this.
This actually has some, like, I felt like it wasn't just blood. There's plenty of that in this, which we'll get into, which was awesome. But it actually kind of had some heart and a little bit of a story kind of to it. Compared to, I'm not saying that any of the ones before this haven't. This just, I don't know, this one just felt different as all the other ones I've watched thus far. There was just a lot of blood and boobs. Like, every woman in the movies previously were topless. This one, you get once. I was like, whoa, either he's maturing or this director was like, no.
Yeah, no, it was actually like very like reined in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing in the movie actually felt like gratuitous.
No, not at all. So, do you have a history with Paul Naschy? Have you watched any of his films before this?
Yes, so I actually own a few on Blu-ray. I have Panic Beats. Don't remember what it's about. I definitely watched that one years ago. I was probably drunk when I watched it, so like I do not remember it, but I definitely own it. Count Dracula's Great Love and the Werewolf versus Vampire Woman, I think.
Yes. That one's actually pretty good.
Syndrome.
That one's pretty solid. I haven't watched the Dracula one yet. I have that one. Same with Panic Beats. I haven't watched that, but that's a pseudo sequel to Horror Rises from the Tomb.
Yeah, I was just listening to that episode before we started recording, actually, and I was like, oh shit, because I knew I owned Panic Beats, and I actually couldn't remember the name of it until listening to the episode, and you're like, oh, Panic Beats. I'm like, that's the one I own. But I had no idea it was a sequel, actually, so yeah, I'm definitely going to have to watch both of those now.
I'll be very interested when I watch it to see if it's like, if it's direct sequel or if it's like the werewolf movies where it's the same character just in a new movie, not connected at all.
Right.
See if he does it that way.
Thing.
All right, so I think you might be. I think I had one other guest that had seen one, but you're the first guest that's seen a couple. Everyone else is like, yeah. Until you reached out to me, I'd never heard of this guy.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, some of them have kind of surprised me because I have a lot of friends in like the horror world. I honestly hadn't heard of him until almost 2 years ago now. Is when I first heard of him. I was like, oh, he's done like 120
actually probably
movies.
The same. Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago probably. So yeah, it hasn't really been that long. I just know he has like a cult following.
That might have been when like Vinegar and everybody started releasing discs and we're like, ooh, who's this guy?
Yeah, I mean, every time Severin like releases a collection, it's like, oh, it's like this guy's collection. I'm like, who the fuck is he? And then I look up some of his movies and I'm like, oh, okay, I get why they're putting a collection together.
Yeah, I guess I'll buy it. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll dive into it. Let's jump into Hunchback of the Morgue, aka El Jorobado de la Morgue from 1973.
Death is on its way. Beware the Hunchback of the Morgue. A freak of nature A slave with a body broken from torture. A maniac with crimes beyond your wildest terrors. What kind of underground horror chamber is he building?
A hunchback working in a morgue falls in love with a sick woman. He goes berserk when she dies and seeks help from a scientist to bring her back from the dead. This is directed by Javier Aguiar. It is written by Paul Naschy under his real name, Jacinto Molina. It stars Paul Naschy, Rosanna Yanni, Victor Barrera, Maria Elena Apron, and others. And as I said, it came out in 1973. In the US, it was released and kind of played some double features here and there before the company that released it went under. And then it kind of disappeared for a while. And then it was released on home video in 1987 as the Rue Morgue Massacre, which you kind of think of,
sounds vaguely familiar.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But like a lot of his movies, I know I have the Blu-ray for this one. When you start it, it even says that some scenes, they use the best version they could find. So some scenes could be
Oh, yes.
bad.
I definitely know one moment where that's very evident.
But yeah, for the most part, it looked really good. But there are just like a few short snippets where it's like, okay, this is either the film was really bad or you found this scene and was like, well, it's the best we got. Let's throw it in there.
Yeah.
So after watching this, what were your kind of initial reaction to the movie?
I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed it because I remember, I think it was Count Dracula's Great Love. Honestly, I don't remember the movie, but I remember how I felt about the movie after watching it. And I remember just being like, oh God, I'm stuck with this movie in my collection and I'm probably never going to watch it again.
Uh-oh,
so I was
just
like,
bought
okay.
that to do. Now I'm like, uh-oh. I lower my expectations.
Yeah, maybe if you lower them real low, and then maybe it'll be really good, right? So
There we go.
That's what I usually do. I mean, that kind of happened with Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I just watched it last night, and I was like, holy shit, fuck me.
Better than I thought it would be, but it was just a tad too long.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, with Nash, I didn't really know what to expect, so I thought it was just going to be a bad movie. But then, he was actually really good in this.
Mm-hmm.
The story was, all over the place in a few parts, but, the overarching thing of it was actually really good. I was I actually, sympathized with the character, and I was actually interested in what was going on. It was actually, very interesting, and I rated it, much higher than I thought I would.
Yeah, I was very surprised with this one because... when you first see his hunchback, you're like, I don't know about this. Because you're expecting it to be the hunchback, makeup on his face. And especially after seeing many of his other films of werewolves, Dr. Jekyll, and the other films that he does where he really is into the makeup piece of it. And this one is he didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But the story was good. Like you said, yes, there are pieces. It does kind of jump around. The editing sometimes, just like all the rest of his movies, are kind of a mess. But overall, I really did enjoy this one. I've been thinking about it. It might be kind of at the top of what I've watched so far of his films as far as where I would rank them.
I think that's pretty fair, actually, because I watched this on Tubi this morning, and then after work and before this, I kind of threw it on in the background on my computer, but playing at 1.5 times speed in Spanish with the subtitles on. And another surprising thing about that is that the dialogue was actually still fairly close to the dubbed version. Because I know most times when they do a dubbed version, and then if you watch the original language with subtitles, the dialogue is very different.
Yeah.
Most of the time. But this one was actually pretty close to what it was in the dubbed version. So I was very surprised to see that. There was just a few noticeable differences, but yeah, even watching it twice, I was just yeah, this is actually a pretty decent watch. This was actually a pretty good time.
Well, we'll go ahead and we'll dive a little deeper into it just so people know. We will spoil it. We're going to dig into the movie and various little facts about the film. Overall, basically, this movie is kind of a mix of a Beauty and the Beast and Frankenstein. where it's kind of a mashup. This is how I look at it. A Beauty and the Beast and Frankenstein, but they tried to make it like a Hammer Films film because it kind of in pieces definitely had that feel hugely.
Yes, a lot of the set pieces had like you could have thrown this in the Hammer collection. I would have been like, I believe you.
There are many, well, at least I don't know after this, but there are a few of them I've watched to this point where you're just like, yeah, he wants to make his own kind of Hammer film without it being that. I know he came close to working with them, but things never materialized, which would have kind of been cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That actually would have been pretty cool.
So this movie, we kind of start off and we have Paul Naschy. He's our hunchback Goto. And, this town, he's a hard worker in this morgue, and people just don't like him because he's the hunchback. Just like any other hunchback story we've ever seen, they always got to tease him. They always make fun of him. They always do various things to him. He falls for this sick woman. This is one of the scenes that kind of cracked me up was, actually, before we dive into that, I want to mention the intro credits and like the circus music that it plays.
Oh my God. Yeah, that threw me for a loop when it started. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, what is going on?
When it started, I was like, oh boy, what are we in for here? And that whole intro doesn't even fit with the tone of the rest of the film at all.
Not at all. It does not set the tone for the movie in any way, shape, or form. Like, no way. It's so bizarre. It's a very bizarre choice.
I had to make sure I mentioned that because I was laughing when it popped up. We start out in a bar and you kind of have these guys that are like, I can outdrink you, and the size of the beers they bring out to do this. I was
literally the first note I have is like, these beers are huge.
Giant. And all I thought was, man, I could drink that right now.
If that's nice and cold, like hell yeah, but that's gonna get so warm so fast.
So there's this contest, they drink beer, and the one guy who thought he could outdrink the other guy loses, and he's like stumbling out. Or no, he's the one that won that stumbled out, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he stumbles out after, and the hunchback Goto kind of comes after behind him. He drops this photo that was, to my love, everything. And then he takes him to his morgue to kill him. But then shortly after, he goes and visits this woman. And it kind of becomes smitten with this woman. It's like, I'm going to bring you flowers. I'm going to visit you. I'm going to do this and all this. Like, he falls in love with her. The hunchback does. She passes away before he can bring her flowers one day. And he takes her to his, I want to say, the underground lair. That's what we'll say. It's a morgue, but it's more of a underground, like,
it's a dungeon.
Yes. Takes the body there. I'm trying to remember how. The scientist he gets works in this area because they're teasing him, making fun of him. He kills these two guys, which that scene was. I was like, whoa, okay. We're getting. There was no shortage of blood in this movie at all, which I liked. And what I said this last episode with Drew, I love the blood in these movies. I just love how it's overly red, really bright. It's the fakest blood in the world, but I'm like, yes, this is what I want from these kind of movies.
Yeah, it just works.
This one scientist is like, yes, I can bring her back. And then all of a sudden he decides to bring his lab down to this dungeon to...
Yeah, because they got rejected for funding. Because him and his partner read that letter where he got rejected for funding, and so then he's just going to use Goto to move his lab equipment and then kill people for him, basically. Because he's basically Dr. Frankenstein.
And the lab that's set up, the way that they set it up, I don't know if they used the same set or pieces from the set, but there's one of his first films called Assignment Terror. There's like an underground laboratory and it almost looks exactly the same. So my guess is he had them around. I was like, hey, I have a whole lab set up. We can we can throw it down here.
Wow.
The whole lab set up and an acid pit.
I mean, I guess it helps get rid of the rest of the body that they don't need.
Yeah.
Conveniently just in the ground for anybody to stumble in.
It comes into play a little bit later, but there is another, is she also a doctor? The blonde woman who kind of...
Yeah, she is a doctor.
Wasn't she the one scientist, Orla? He's like our Dr. Frankenstein, Dr. Orla. And then the other woman, Ilsa, is the woman who is sick and dies. And he brings her body, and her body kind of lays there and just slowly rots while they're... And Goto keeps saying, like, when are you going to bring her? When are you going to wake her up? When are you going to wake her up?
Yeah, while she's getting attacked by rats.
Yeah, which they use real rats.
I read that piece of trivia.
And the rats that get set on fire, they actually lit the rats on fire.
Yeah.
I'm like, gosh.
Yeah. Wow.
What
a different time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When I talked Bruno Mattei's Rats Night of Terror, talking about like they just torched rats and they would have dead rats because they couldn't afford more and they just throw dead rats at people.
God damn.
I'm like, I bet the smell is terrible.
Oh,
but yes,
seriously.
a different time, because even they got permission to use an actual cadaver for a scene, and when he cuts the head off, they were gonna do it. And I read that Naschy was doing shots of whiskey, but he couldn't do it, so they just got a fake head for him to pull up. I'm like, man,
yeah, better choice.
Yeah, because if this, the story would have came out to say, yeah, they used the cadaver and cut the head off and held the head up, it would have been, knowing that fact, it would have been like, oh, this is why I love these movies. It's Ilsa, and then the other woman is Elka.
Right, yeah.
So their names are very similar, but she eventually, she's very kind to Goto, and she eventually falls for him in kind of this almost an opposite kind of thing, and that's where we get our one nude piece, is when she decides to...
And that's where the footage changes quality, right?
Yes,
and that shot.
It does. It does. Just like all of his other Blu-rays, this one has a censored and uncensored version, so basically it would probably just cuts that scene out. But usually they're listed as the nude and clothed versions, is what they say typically, and this one just says censored, uncensored. So I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if they cut any blood out or anything. I just watched that. But yes, that scene when they go to it looks like almost like an 8mm that they found somewhere and then blew it up.
Yeah.
And couldn't color it right. All the while, Dr. Orla and his assistant, Dr. Totschner, who was played by Victor Barrera, who is in Horror Rises from the Tomb movie we talked last month. He was Paul Naschy's partner kind of in that. He did a few movies with Paul Naschy. So did Rosanna Yanni, who played Elka. She was in a few movies. She was in, was it Frankenstein's Bloody Terror? One of his first movies. She was a vampire in that. And I think she was in one other one. Watching these, it's always that oh wait, I recognize this person from one of the other ones. And I gotta remember which one they're from. But Dr. Orla is successful in getting something to be alive, because he has this giant, almost like not a test tube, but this giant canister with this it almost just looks like a lung breathing in there for a while, and then it slowly grows and grows, and then he's like, it's about to break out, we gotta get it into this other room. And they go and throw it in this other room, and all of a sudden you hear it the glass break, and it's like, rah, rah, rah. That's all you ever hear from it. Most of the movie, you just hear it growling, and it's hungry. So Goto has to go get it, more people to eat. And there's a woman's reformatory nearby. That's where the other doctor works.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, because earlier in the movie, she had to separate two people who were whipping one another or something.
And it was a weird scene of, is she whipping her because she's mad, or is she whipping her sexually because of the faces she was making. I couldn't tell which way it was going.
Yeah, I found that confusing too. I'm like, I don't know if this is good, bad, or both. Like, I'm not sure.
Goto eventually goes back and gets them and brings them back to kill him.
Yes, because the thing that he's growing won't accept corpses. It'll only accept like living things now. So of course humans are the only thing. Although I think he does say at some point that the creature will take on the attributes of what it just ate or something like that. It's like a very like quick, like kind of throwaway line.
Okay, I must have missed that one. Because when you finally get to see the creature, it's not taking on any attributes of anything. It's just
it's the oily maniac.
Yes, exactly. I think I wrote down it's the tar monster, but a little wilder. Yeah. There's one other scene that confused me too, was, you know, when those three guys are sitting there kind of playing cards or whatever, and they're like, it's starting to really stink in here. Let's just get rid of the body for Elsa, because she's just laying on a slab decaying. Every time we see her, she's just more decayed than before. And like, let's just throw her in the acid pit. So they're like, all right. So they throw her in, and Goto comes in and sees it, and he attacks them and kills them. Shortly after, we see two of those guys, and they're all like deformed and burned. One guy, he almost looks like a zombie, comes at him, where he has the other guy on his back, like as a backpack, a dead body backpack or something.
Yep.
The whole scene, like, it didn't make sense, except for the makeup was cool, but it didn't make sense because he just kind of comes out all like, and then we see him later dead.
Yeah, and then like the doctor even wonders like where those two are, or like they know they're dead or something, or they disappeared, and they know that Goto did it. And yeah, like you said, he just comes out walking like a zombie with the other guy tied on his back.
Yeah.
Scares the girl, and then later on we just see their corpses there, just chilling there, just sitting.
Yeah,
and
just sitting there with like,
it's very confusing. It's like,
around.
Yeah, like I don't know what made them come back to life. Maybe ? Like I have no idea. Like you said, the makeup was actually super cool. Like I would have like dealt more with this, but I'm like, I also don't know what this is and what we're doing.
I didn't know if they were like, okay, is the doctor reanimating the dead? You know, like he said, I could bring her back to life. Did he do something to bring them back to life? And now they're just kind of roaming around the halls of this dungeon.
It felt like that's what it was supposed to be, but we never quite got there.
Yeah. Did they cut that out of the script and like, oh, it's too expensive to do more zombies, so we'll just have them this. We already shot this one scene. The makeup's cool. We'll leave it in. But yeah, I would have loved to see more of that. Just like in his previous, The Horror Rises from the Tomb, there's a whole zombie scene. I was like, I want more of this, because it was just, it looked good.
Yeah.
When we got to the creature, when it breaks out, I'm like, I mean, it looks fine, but he didn't look as good as the zombie guys.
Yeah. He just looked slippery.
Yes. My notes, I said I'm very disappointed with the lack of boobs in this film.
Yeah. Which is true. I was actually expecting more nudity, because like I had known like that about most of his movies. Like there's usually nudity, and there's like barely any of this. I'm like, wow, they really toned it down.
They toned it down a lot. But it kind of it worked for the story, because, you know, this man, this hunchback falling for this woman, that she dies, and then you have this other woman that eventually falls for him. And then you have the scientist, Dr. Frankenstein, basically, who's going mad when he's creating his monster, and then eventually his own creation kills him.
No, it definitely makes sense for the story. And like the movie, like honestly, it didn't need any, like, for what it was. So
no, it didn't.
But I mean, I'll never say no to nudity in a movie either. So
yeah, we talked this Naschy film, as we've said, it had a good story. It had a good his character. I loved his arc of, you know, he fell in love with this woman, she dies, and he just wants her to come back, and that kind of got taken away from him. And then in the end, he sacrifices himself to save the other two, the doctor and Elka, you know, throwing himself in the acid pit and everything else. And when it got to the end, I was like, you know what? I kind of like how this whole arc for him kind of just happened. It's sad. It was a good story.
Yeah, I mean, it was very like heroic. Like, even though it does feel a little abrupt, at the same time, like, it actually just works for what it is, because it's like, well, he's gone, he sacrificed himself. Like, I really don't need to know what those other three are up to. Like, I'm good. So
the other thing I did want to say about this movie is there was some really great scenes, especially when Dr. Orla is taking the other doctor to this underground now lab. As they're getting to the location where it's kind of foggy and they're walking kind of outside in this building, that almost castle-esque, how it's like almost crumbling. I was like, this just looks awesome. I loved the kind of the gothic feel and look to a lot of the scenes within it.
Yeah, no, the scenery, yeah, it was actually a really kind of cool scenery and like set pieces they had. Yeah, I overall just really enjoyed this movie, like, way more than I thought I was going to. Like, I was just very surprised. Like, I was half expecting to just, like, shit on this movie for a while, but I'm like, this is actually, like, it's good. But, like, yeah, it's a mess in some parts, but, like, overall, like, yeah, not bad, actually.
There were, I didn't write down which scene it was, but there were a couple big jumps where he's with one person, all of a sudden it cuts and he's somewhere else completely, like, almost immediately, and it felt jarring. It's happened in multiple films I've watched where what feels like big time jumps have been cut out. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm at the point now I just roll with it. But
yeah, there's definitely a few moments.
This movie, it's for the most part, it's a bit of a slow burn. It has some really good bloody moments in it, and it is a nice twist on, the Frankenstein story, which it was kind of nice. It's basically Frankenstein, but it just a little, I don't want to say a little different. It's a lot different.
Yeah, like, it's definitely heavily inspired by Frankenstein, but it is, like, different enough to not just be like a Frankenstein movie. Like, it's very much still kind of its own thing, just heavily inspired by Frankenstein. I was going to say, like, maybe they could do, like, a remake of something like this, but I'm like, we probably don't need it. There's lots of other movies that are similar to this, but, like, this is something, like, if you are going to watch, like, a Paul Naschy film, like, I think this would definitely be one to, like, put at the top of the list to get into his movies if you're, like, curious about them.
Oh, absolutely. As I said, this one right now is towards the top of the list. I don't know if it'd be number one or not, but I'd kind of have to think about it. But it's definitely right up there with what I've seen thus far. Any other thoughts on Hunchback of the Morgue?
I don't think so. I think I've said everything. Paul's performance was actually really good. I actually, just from what I do remember from his other movies, I think him playing, like, a more, like, sympathetic character and not so much a villain, because, like, even though, like, he does kill people in this movie, he's not really the villain of the movie. He has a really good arc, and, like, he did a really good job in this movie. So
he's like a villain, but not villain, because he does go and kill people, but you're still very sympathetic with him of, like, oh, he's doing this for reasons.
And people are shitty to him too. So
yeah, exactly. So what would you give this out of a 5?
I think I'd go with 3. I think 3 out of 5 is what I would give it.
Okay.
Good story, good acting, and probably something I wouldn't mind throwing on again in the future.
I'm right around there with you. I'd give it a 3.5 just because out of the ones I've watched thus far, this one just had a better story. He was really good in it, and it had some good bloody moments along the way that I just love that bright red. I just love that bright red.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Go check out Hunchback of the Morgue. Same with you. I would tell people, put this one towards the top of your list to check out. If you've never seen any of his movies, maybe start here and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, it's an hour and 22 minutes, so it's not very long either.
No, it's a quick watch. Steve, I want to thank you so much for coming on to help me out with the year of Paul Naschy. You're my halfway point. I'm halfway through now. I've done 6.
Oh,
I got 6 more left to go, at least here on the main feed. I'm doing more over on Patreon and YouTube because I'm crazy like that. But
No, thanks so much for having me on. It's been an absolute blast, and finally nice to actually talk to you in somewhat in person.
yes, not just typing and in the Discord.
Yeah.
So where can people follow Bucket of Chum and see what you have going on?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, on TikTok. I don't really post much on there. So all those other places, it's usually at Bucket of Chum or at Bucket of Chum Podcast. Same with YouTube, at Bucket of Chum Podcast. And I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Bucket of Chum Podcast. Bit of a hiatus right now, but hopefully I'm going to be posting some episodes starting this month in June when we're recording this. And then in July, definitely doing a month of action again this year. So looking forward to that. I'm going to be talking about Beast of War.
Oh, Beast of War is what you're doing, month? Awesome.
Yeah, so that should be a good time. But yeah, those are all the places you can find me. Over on YouTube, I'm doing some more gaming videos as well. I just did Chapter 1 of Jaws Retro Edition, so go check that out.
Go check out Steve and Bucket of Chum, especially if you love sharks. He's the guy you got to talk to.
But I'll shit on shitty movies.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to. So
he was thinking this might be, but it was surprised him, which was
I'm very surprised. So. It was a nice surprise.
Well, hopefully you'll come back again for another film sometime.
Oh, absolutely, and definitely have to have you on my show as well at some point.
I would love to. Well, that will do it for this episode of Tomb of Terrors and halfway point of the Year of Naschy. If you don't already, just subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of these Paul Naschy episodes, any reviews I do, interviews I do, verses that I do with my wife. We just had one on Carrie. We have another one coming this summer. I think we're going to do Children of the Corn. But if you subscribe, you'll never miss any of it. I'll be back soon with a brand new episode. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.